Okay, in this video, let's talk a little bit more about the about what makes these ice nodes work and how to work with them. So, with this particle cloud selected, I'll simply hit Alt and 9 on the keyboard to open up the ice tree again, and here we go. All right, you notice that these ice nodes have all these different parameters that you can go ahead and connect to. These are all called ports, and you can plug into them. Now, on the right of a node, what you'll see is the output port. That is to say, all the information from the node goes out through that output port, hence why it's called an output port. On the left over here is the input port, and that's where you can input data or ports from other nodes. For example, the get disk node has its output ports on the right. That means that data can be output from that side and input into the left side of another node, like this emit from surface node. So that's how you explain how this purple connector here is going into this emitter 1 port of the emit from surface node. Now, why are they color coded? How come there's different colored ports? Well, the answer to that's pretty simple. Each color represents a different data type. So, i3 Jack, what are you talking about? What data types? Well, it's pretty simple. There's different kinds of data to be taken into account here. For example, this bright neon green port is scalar data. That is to say, it's scalar information. These purple ports here represent geometry or objects. So you can bring in things like nulls or polygon meshes and things like that. Then we have these red ports, and these red ports represent color information, RGB. Okay, and we have all kinds of different colors here, like say yellow is 3D vector data, so you can bring in 3D vectors and things like that. Then you can use these orange ones to control Boolean data, okay? And we have all kinds of different colors, and we're going to get to see how these different data types work together in the ice tree to get things to work. Now, if two different types of data don't match up, more often than not, you will not be able to connect them. For example, if I were to take this purple data here, which comes from this geometry, the get disk, and I try to plug this into the size, you're going to get this error message that says type mismatch. Input type supported is scalar, which is why this is green over here. The output type supported, which you're trying to output from, is geometry, which is purple. So you can't mix and match those. Sometimes, however, you can, but most of the time you cannot. And you get that little error message there, and it won't let you go ahead and connect that. That's to let you know that you can't do that. So it kind of helps you out in that way. All right. Another way we can display ports here is with this little icon here with these three gray bars. You notice that that icon is available here in every single node and compound inside of our ice tree view. So what is that icon there for? Is it there to look cool? No, not really. If you go ahead and click on that, you get one bar. See, only one lit up bar. And what that does is it simply collapses this. That way everything's nice and neat and small and not taking up a ton of space. You can click it a second time and now you have two gray lit bars. And what that'll do is it'll shift the view mode here for this node. So the only ports that pop up are ports that are connected to. So in this case, the emitter 1 port has a connection, so it'll show up here in the actual view. But all the other ports that don't have connections will be collapsed and tucked away so that this node is more space efficient and doesn't take up so much room in your ice tree. And then of course you can click a third time to have the three bars lit up, and that way you can see the entire node and all of its different ports. We can also click on these port subject headers here where it says emission parameters. You'll see this black arrow icon. If we click on that black arrow, we can collapse that whole subsection of ports. So all the ports that belong to the emission parameters subsection here will be collapsed and tucked away. Even if they have a connection there, it'll still get collapsed and tucked away. So it's just a different way of configuring these nodes, the way that they're viewed and the way that they're visible in the ice tree, to make things a little bit more convenient for you and so you can organize yourself better. So these things come in really useful and they're good to know so you can work a little bit more efficiently inside of the ice tree. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. Let's move on to the next one and continue here with ice in exercise 7.